I want to thank everybody for joining me again today. And today I want to kind of pick up where I left off on the last video. Last video I finished talking about duality and how it's the basis for pretty much everything in for everything in creation in this physical world. It's set programs that we as a community, as a collective, put together and make this stage, and we all here to create our version of this life that we want. And most of us are living the version that someone else wants and not what we want. And it's because of programming. It's the programming that we've developed from others and our environment from a young child. So, they're set in tight, and it's hard to make changes or do different things when those programs are constantly running against what you're trying to accomplish. And if you're not used to breaking the program, just shutting it down and forcing it and having the will to just make whatever you want happen, then those programs will every time kick in and stop you from doing it. Because if it's something that's not in line with it, if it's something that's not in accordance with the programming that you've developed, that you've gotten addicted to, that's just plainly in place, running like on a computer. It's just, if that's the programming that's there, nothing is going to change until the programming is changed. Our life is like a series of programs that constantly run over and over. And this stage is kind of like the internet, where all of those programs come together. Everybody puts their own little part in and makes this virtual world. Well, that's pretty much the same. We have these 5 senses that make it extremely real. But this body is no more you than the chair you're sitting in, if you're sitting in a chair. This body is a link to this experience, and that's it. It's no more you than, like I say, the chair you're sitting in, if you're sitting in a chair. So we experience this so-called life through this physical body that we're linked to through the senses, and we experience this life through this dimension of time with these programs that we have developed to believe real through this brain. And the ignorance of the mind as a baby, well, I wouldn't say the ignorance of it, just the non-existence of a conscious mind. A baby only has a subconscious mind. So it doesn't even have a conscious mind yet. So only thing it has is influence. And from that point on, it builds its mentality, its personality, everything on what it perceives from what's around it. And, that writes the program. So what we got to do is learn how to write the programming we want and implement it, instead of allowing our environment to dictate how we respond and how we create. We determine what we want our environment to be, and that's what we make it. And the first steps in doing that is determining what you want to be around you, what you want this programming to be. You have to write your own program. and install your own programs into your life instead of letting your surroundings dictate how you feel about the things that are already outside of you into the physical. You don't let the physical control you. You control the physical world. If you let it control you, then you're at its mercy for whatever it wants to do with you. So, everything revolves around the programming, the ones and the zeros. That's the fabric of this physical world. That's what made this physical world. That's where the Ankh comes from. The one and the zero sitting on top of the one. Symbol of life. That's what makes life possible. It wouldn't be possible without it in this physical world. Ptah built the universe with the Ankh. We built this universe with our programming. And we decide what is around us, what we see, what we experience with the programming we implement, we install. So that's right I guess what I'm saying is, excuse me, after just getting through talking about duality, and it would only be fitting to go into ways to make duality work for you instead of being in the rat race, being on the wheel at its mercy, because you can either play the game of this physical world and perceive it as real and take everything to heart in it, or you can face what it truly is. This is an experience that you are helping to develop and that you can create and control in any way you want. You can control your universe, your part of it, any way you want. And all you have to do is figure out what that is. That's the first step. How do you want things to be? You have to go through the how you want it to be, write it down, make yourself believe that that's the way it can be, of course. You have to know you can't have what you don't think you can have. These videos I've done already, so that's why I'm not going to go into any detail. But you get all these things in order. Follow all the laws of this physical world, of this physical universe, and implement your own programming into your life. After you figure out what that is, that's when you get on the journey of making it happen. And a lot of us want to be too lazy to make that change. That's the biggest part. To change that programming, it brings anxiety, it brings depression, you're not going to relate to hardly anyone around you. It's hard. It's depending on how deep the programming is, it could be extremely hard, and some people just not going to make that. Most people aren't going to make that transition. There's really not many people, compared to how many people it is on the planet, there's really not many people going to make that transition. There's only a privileged few that has the capacity to even understand this. Now, why? I don't know, because to me it seems to be common sense, and to anybody that can hear it and understand it, that's the way it is. It's common sense, really. It's, if you think about it in a certain way. A lot of the things I say, most everyone we know would probably look at us crazy and call us crazy. Probably want to have us locked up for saying a lot of the things we say, especially a lot of people real deep in religion, organized religion. You know, I grew up, like I say, I grew up that way. I was a Christian for what, 34 years. But once I realized the truth, it was just, there was no denying it. Once your eyes open, they're open. There's no going back. But like I say, this is for few people that'll even get this concept, that'll be able to really understand and use it for the benefits it can be used for, to get the benefits that you could get from using it, and to create the life that you want instead of being at the mercy of your environment, to put in programming to bring things you don't want, to build the life around you that you don't want. You have to take charge and do it yourself. And that's with your will. You have to do a lot of meditation. Like I say, connect with your higher self, the real you. Because this consciousness that we're dealing with here is very limited. We can only know our real potential when we can connect with that higher self, with the real us. So the next video, I think I am going to go into some certain meditations that's dealing with the will, and that's dealing with the ability to motivate yourself, and to get excited about change and know that the change is coming. You have the mindset is a huge factor in it. All of these factors are huge. So, they're all just as important as other. The thing you have to do is meditate. Get in touch with your higher self. That's where you're going to learn. That's where you're really going to learn from. That's going to teach you the lessons. Like I said before many times, I can't teach anybody anything. And if you're looking outside of yourself to find out who you are, then you're looking in the wrong place. Now, don't get me wrong. Of course, we need guidance to push us in the right directions. I'm not saying that. But when this stuff really sinks in and you truly understand, it'll be your higher self giving you that answer, because it, like I say, it's all knowing. It's everywhere at once. So it knows everything, and you have the ability to, benefit from that. You can take anything from it you want because it's you. So we're going to go into, I think next time, some meditation, unless it's a change. I don't like to say what the next video will be, but I think that's what it's going to be. Specific meditations to start getting rid of this programming, and ways to implement the programming that we want in our life. And I think I'm about out of time, so I think that'll be it. If you like the video, give me a like, subscribe, like me on Facebook, give me a comment on Facebook. And if you got any questions for me, please ask. And till next time, life, love, prosperity, health to you all.